viewers, what's up? Welcome to another episode of E&C Question Reflection. My name is Casey. I'm going to be your host today. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that is stumped a lot of people. So my husband actually came to me and he was like, hey, yo, let's do a topic on is COVID killing your relationship? And it was kind of funny how he put that because, you know, with the little situation and the mortality rate with the coronavirus, how he put it was kind of funny. So I'm going to keep that. So we're going to be talking about that. Is COVID killing your relationship? So let's talk. I do want to remind you, though, to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Make sure you hit all so you don't miss any of the material. As a matter of fact, you'll be the first one to know about them. Also, hit the like button, share with your friends, and comment if you have anything you need to say. Or just to say hey. So, y'all, let's talk. Is COVID killing your relationship? It ain't killing mine, but I bet it's killing a lot of relationships. And I'm going to tell you why. So, in 2018, per the CDC marriage and divorce rates, in 2018 it was 2.9 in per 1,000, and you know that's basically like 3% of marriages were getting divorced. So there was a study done by SMU Daily Campus. They went ahead and took out the information because right now the census we're still in the middle of doing the census. So they took the information from the census information that had been collected, and it is telling us that 39% of people who are married are getting divorced. So you'll think, well, I mean, people, why all of a sudden are people getting divorced? And so if you know in one of my videos that we had done about finding a relationship and meeting somebody, I always tell you, be cautious about the people you think you know. You find these people, wherever you're finding them at, and they're beautiful, or they're handsome, or they got all this and this and that together, and when it all boils down, you find that they got a bad attitude, they don't want to work, or they don't want to provide, or they're nasty and don't like to clean, or maybe they want kids but can't take care of, whatever, the situation is. You start moving in together and you realize just how you don't like these people. I have said a million times, have you ever met a beautiful person with a stank attitude or like a nasty inner beauty? And it does not matter how hot this person is, that inner beauty just pours out of them. And it doesn't matter. They can be as fine as they want to be, and they are ugly as all get out. My grandma used to tell me when I was younger, because I had an attitude. If y'all know me, I was raised foster care, in and out, stuff like that. And my grandma never told me when I would act out. She never would tell me, stop being bad, stop being rude, blah, blah. She would always tell me, stop being ugly. She always used to tell me, I'm like, talking about ugly? Now I know what you're talking about. So the thing is now that with this whole coronavirus and the quarantining and they're leaving people in their house, you're starting to find people that used to maybe work separate schedules, or maybe you had one work during the day or the other one would work during the night, so they really never saw each other. Or you'll have scenarios where they both work all the time and they never really see each other. Maybe they see when you give your spouse an opportunity to miss you, it's almost like a long distance relationship. Once you get together, you're all like, oh, lovey-dovey, and the relationship's great. But can you survive all the time with each other? They don't realize they can't survive like that. So with this corona situation and the COVID quarantining everyone or keeping people in the house, people are losing their jobs. There's two things going on there. One, people are spending a lot more time with each other. A lot more time. They ain't got to go to work, so they sitting at home. And then the second reason is the number one reason for divorce: financial problems. So when people aren't working, there's no money. When people aren't working, there's no space. There's no time away. Some people live in one-bedroom apartments or studio apartments, and there's no back porch to go to. There's no man cave for him to disappear into. Maybe you want to watch your show. There's one TV, you want to watch your show, and he got a football game. Maybe it's a Sunday, Monday, or a Thursday. Hey, I know that about football. Look, I don't know much about football, but I know what days they come on because I have to schedule certain stuff around that. But, that's an issue. That's a very big issue. And not being able to solve problems is a humongous issue, because you'll have people that have been doing this. They've been married for 8 years, 9, 10 years, and they've been doing the same thing every day for 9 and 10 years. And then you get this first year where they actually have to coexist, and they can't handle it. I don't like you. Or here's another one. I know my husband, they're playing football right now. So this will be him. And I know he's going to say this if we were sitting here. You'll have people who will go to work. The husband will go to work. The wife will go to work. And they got this thing called work husbands. That's what it's called. Work spouses. The wife will have her a work husband. The husband will have him a work wife. So, now they coming home. They can't see their work people that they're used to seeing. That's going to pose a problem. They're going to find out a lot about each other in this house for there's 1 year, but they've been married for years. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And then they have to spend this 1 year together, and they can't handle it. They can't handle it. They're spending too much time together. They're not used to each other. They've been apart so long. They don't realize, married people don't realize how much time they actually spend away from each other. See, my husband and I spend a lot of time together. So this COVID thing ain't nothing to us. It ain't nothing to us. We're used to being around each other. There's no separation. We don't feel separated at all. We're always around each other. And I will tell you, I'll be the first to tell people, because I don't want anybody to think that me and my husband are so perfect. Oh, trust me. I can get on here and I can talk to you about what I've done, things that have worked for me, why my marriage is working and lasting as long as it is. I can go do this all day, but it does not mean that me and my husband don't argue. I know how to stay in my place, but I know how to argue and stay in my place at the same time. So I don't want anybody to think that we're perfect, because we still have our little disagreements. We've come a long way from those disagreements. But understand, we can function with each other because of another video that I'm going to be putting out called The True Meaning of Love. And that's loyalty and sacrifice. It takes loyalty, it takes sacrifice. So the thing is that these people who think that they have loved their spouse for so long have only reached a specific level of love because they haven't even been around their spouse long enough to really have a deep enough love that they have loyalty and sacrifice. When people get around each other, they start seeing more things. I mean, like, imagine that you see the most beautiful house. And you go into the house and you're like, oh God, this house is so nice. I love this house. I want this house. And you go get the house. The more you live in it, the more you're around it, the more that you can see things in it, the more you are going to start pinpointing little bitty things that need to be fixed in that house. Little bitty things that need to be fixed in that house. And the sad part about that is it's the same way in marriage. The little bitty things that you never noticed before, you're going to start to notice. You're going to start getting aggravated. You're going to start feeling like, oh my God, I can't deal with this. Me and you cannot live together. And you're going to do exactly what you've been doing for the last 7 to 8 years, and that's separate. When you are not used to being around each other, when you're not used to having an issue and knowing how to resolve that issue or learning how to solve that issue, when the time comes, which it has now that we're in the situation that we're in with this corona, with this COVID, and having to stay at home with our spouses and be around them a lot more than we normally have, if you haven't had any experience solving any issues, you got it bad. Because now you have to either try to figure out how to solve your problems or separate. You've been so separated in these last however many years that you've been married. You've been so separated away from each other that you're going to resort to exactly what you're used to, and that's being separated. Whether it's, I'm going to my mom's for the weekend, or let's think of another one that people might do. I'm going for a drive, or whatever. You know, people come up with, try to separate themselves from their spouse. I can't think of it. If I want to separate from my husband, I'm trying to think what I would do. I don't know. I'd go outside in the yard. I don't know. I would do something. Go watch TV. Go find a movie to watch. But I don't have that problem. So I mean, I don't know how. I know how rough it can be, though. I do know that. I do know that when you're amongst somebody that you're not used to being around, you think you're used to being around them because they're your husband or they're your wife. So you're like, oh, it's just my husband or my wife, okay. And probably in the first couple of weeks, you're like, oh, I'm so glad me and you we're gonna go do this and we're gonna do that. Girls, that ain't your girlfriend. That ain't your homegirl. That's your husband. And that man, you talking about going out and shopping and we do this. And that man's talking about something, oh my God, I'm finna kick my feet up. I'm finna relax. I'm finna binge watch old football games. That man does not want to go shopping with you. And then guess what? Now we're going to start this. Why you don't ever want to go with me? Why you don't want to do that with me? You wasn't worried about him not doing nothing with you while you was out working all the time and doing whatever you was doing. But now that you stuck in the house and you can't go to work, now what you doing? Or you'll get the ones that just go over to their homegirl house. Or you get the men, the husbands that go over to their friend's house, their homeboy's house, or they whatever. Go hang out at they boy's house and watch the game. Whatever. Guess what? You separating yourselves. Now she finna be mad because she home by herself and ain't got nothing to do, or he's home by himself and he ain't got nothing to do. So it's just gonna cause an argument, a fuss, and a fight. So the thing is, if this thing is killing your relationship, the first thing to understand is that you need to be aware of it. If you realize during this situation that you're starting to hate them, or you're starting to really cannot stand to be around them, just find a coping skill. Because it ain't that serious. First of all, you guys are going to have to learn how to solve these problems together. Not separated. This ain't call them on the phone and be like, hey, can you help me solve this problem over the phone? No. Now y'all going to have to go head to head and be like, well, how are we going to do this? This is a team effort. And if you're letting the quarantine situation or not having a job kill your relationship, you wasn't strong enough to have the relationship in the first place. You should have never had the relationship in the first place. If you can't live amongst each other, because that's one of the first things I tell my kids all the time. I just dropped the video on my son straight up. I said, what is dating? And he told y'all, all of my subscribers and all the viewers, he said, dating is when you're trying to find a girl who is marriage material. And that came from a 12-year-old. He ain't even 12 yet. He's going to be 12 in 2 weeks. 3 weeks. He ain't 12 yet. And he knows. So when you first find somebody, you need to find out if you can even live with this person in the first place. If this person is even going to be somebody you can solve a problem with. So however long you've been married, don't know. But you're going to have to find a way to function with each other. You're going to have to realize this is not about to be cookies and tea. This is not going to be the greatest thing in the world. Like, oh, I'm so glad I don't have to go to work. Now we can hang out. Now we can go do lovey-dovey stuff. No, now you're going to get real sick of each other. Especially if you haven't been around each other. If you work this day shift and he works night shift, y'all will never see each other. Or if both of y'all work, 10-hour shifts, come home at, 7 o'clock at night, go to bed by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you've only spent 3 hours a day in a 24-hour day with each other? For how many years? So if COVID is killing your relationship, the first thing you need to find out is exactly what it is that is killing it. Because it ain't COVID that's killing it. It's your lack of being able to be around each other that's killing it. It's the fact that you didn't realize from the jump that y'all can't mix together in one spot. Or it's become that time where y'all are in the same house together, and so normally, you'll have the husband, maybe a husband will go to work and the wife will be home. So the wife will be cooking and cleaning, running the house, and her husband be gone. So while he's gone, she takes the place of running the house and head over the house and stuff. So when he comes back, she has to learn how to bump it down. Well, guess what? During this quarantine, COVID-19, no jobs, always at home, whatever y'all want to call it. Now he's the head of the house, or he's always been the head of the house, but he's in the house. And have y'all women learned how to get in your spot? Get in your spot. Or are y'all still, I've been doing this the whole time. I don't need you to be telling me what to do. I sure hope not you not doing that. I surely hope that's not what you're doing. Because then, of course, that's going to cause problems. Of course. Because men are competitive. And you're probably like, well, what does that got to do with anything? Because men will compete for their headship even though it's rightfully theirs. And they will compete to the point where a woman has competed with him. So now he's not going back down off of no competition. You challenge your man. You can challenge him if you want to. Go ahead. Challenge him. Watch where it gets you. So you'll have them kind of situations too. You'll have them kind of situations where, wait a minute, now I've been doing this. I've been running this house. I've been doing my little side stuff, and you be work all day long while I'm doing this, and now you home, and now all you want to do is sit around and lay around all day long. Please don't start that. All you want to do is lay around all day long while you in my way, and you put your feet out, go in now, Now he's in your way. If this situation is killing your relationship, it ain't got nothing to do with coronavirus that's killing your relationship. It's got to do with the fact that y'all can't mix together at the same time. Y'all cannot be amongst each other for long in the same spot. He wants to do one thing, you want to do another. If you have the ones where you both work different shifts, the woman is used to doing one thing while he's gone, the husband's gone, and the husband's used to doing one thing while she's gone. He ain't got to worry about her nagging if all he does is sit around and watch football or basketball or work on his truck or do whatever. He ain't got to worry about her nagging at him for doing that. As long as he don't mess up the house or nothing like that and cause it a fuss at him. And she ain't got to worry about him telling her what to do while she's running around cleaning the house and, running stuff. So now when you put the two together, put it all together, and what do you got? A big problem. Because now she gonna nag him because all he want to do is sit around and watch his not his video game, but his basketball games or his football game, because football's, just both seasons, right? I don't know. But he wants to sit around and do that, or he wants to go work on his truck, and she feels like he should be doing this. So guess what? Ding, 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 ding. And it's a problem. But it's because people are not putting themselves in their rightful positions. They don't know how to function at the same time. And I can say this because that used to be me. I was raised in state custody. As a child, we are taught, as teenagers, we go to independent living classes. We are taught everything that we can be to be independent from anybody, where we can be self-sufficient. Coming into a marriage where my husband wanted to be the head of the household, and I'm saying that sarcastically, threw me off. And I mean threw me off hard. I wasn't trusting no man. None. I did not want to see no man run nothing about me. Because I can do this by myself. I had that thought process. And even though I wanted to be married really bad, I didn't want to deal with that. If I had the same attitude then, but I had now, if I had the same attitude then and I had that attitude now, COVID would probably kill my relationship too. You have to be aware of the problems that are in the relationship. And a lot of times, you really don't have that many problems. I used to complain all the time about things in my marriage. Oh, this and that is that. And then when I'd sit back and I'd really think about it, I ain't have no problems in the marriage. I was stubborn, prideful, and bullheaded, and I wouldn't let him do nothing. He wasn't finna tell me nothing. Nobody was finna tell me nothing at that. And I had to rearrange that. So if I had that attitude now, yeah, this whole situation would kill my relationship. I'd have had a whole fit. Fighting and all if I had to. And that's why I'm able to sit in front of you and tell you COVID is not killing your relationship. You are. If you are divorcing because this COVID situation has you too close to your spouse, y'all weren't gonna work it out anyways. Because you have to be able to fix problems, and you have to be able to coexist with each other, and you have to be able to do that in a relationship at the same time. You can't be so separated on a regular basis and then just be like, well, now we come together, now we can't function because you know this COVID situation got us where we can't function. We can't even help each other. We can't do anything for each other because COVID. The divorce rate has skyrocketed because people are starting to realize they can't coexist with this person. If they'd have realized in the beginning that they couldn't coexist with this person, they probably wouldn't have married that person. But see, you have to get in your rightful positions. You have to do what you should be doing, and you have to be able to have coping skills and be able to deal with each other. You have to be able to have problems in a relationship and work them out together. You can't get mad, women. You can't get mad at your man because he worked all day. Now he's not working. Neither are you. And if you are, You can't get upset. What is he supposed to do? He's waiting around just like anybody else, kicking his feet up and watching the game. Work around him. I had to learn how to work around my husband because he used to get on my nerves too. I felt like he was in my way, but he really wasn't in my way. He was outside of my routine. He started because my husband, he's an officer, he's a security officer. Loves what he does. Wouldn't tell him to change it for the world because he loves doing it. And if you know, in the security world, they change posts. Sometimes you can make more money if you bounce between posts and stuff like that. So you're not just in one specific spot. You can bounce around. And so sometimes he'd be home when he normally wouldn't be home because he worked a different shift or whatever. And he'd be in my way. And it used to get on my nerves. And then one day I sat back and I looked at him and I said, you know what? What are you tripping about? He is not in your way. He really is not in your way. Work around him. But because he wasn't in my... I do prefer to clean when nobody's in my house. But because he wasn't inside of my routine... But had I let that get to me, I might be divorced. You can't let these little silly things get to you. You have to learn how to work together. You have to learn how to cope with each other and deal with trying times. You have to learn how to sacrifice what you want or how you want things to be when it's not that serious. You have to learn how to sacrifice. I might have wanted him to go in his room and shut the door. He might wanted to watch TV out in the front room. You know? It might be like that. Now, if I want to clean one room, I'll whatever room he's in, I'll go in a different room and clean that room. And then if I get done in that room, he'll ask me. But again, we've been married for 14 years. He'll say, hey, do you want me to go in the other room so you can clean this one? And I'll say, yeah, give me just a second. And yeah, you can, if you don't mind switching, you're just go switch. And that's exactly how that conversation goes. And he'll get up and he'll go, or I'll just wait to clean that room because he might be sitting in his favorite recliner. I'll just wait. You know, whatever the situation is, you have to learn how to coexist with people. And that's what's got COVID-19, quarantines, these husbands and these wives all shook up because they amongst each other and they don't know how to live together. They're too separated. They're too separated all the time, and now that they're together, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to act. They well, you know, we just might as well just get a divorce. 39%. That's a very high number. 39% of people who are getting married are getting divorced. That is a lot of people. There was what is that number? There was 2 million people that are married. I'll actually look it up for you really quick. I'll tell you exactly what it is. Well, this is from 2000. Okay, so this one's from 2000 and... My hair gets on my nerves sometimes. This is from data from 2018, but back then, two years ago, there was 2,132,853 people that was married. And there was 782,038 people that got divorced that year. Now, that sounds like a lot of numbers, but that was only 3%, 2.9% of every 1,000. That was only 3% of the population that was getting divorced. Now there's 39%. Come on now. We can do better than that. Y'all can do better than that. Don't get married. Don't waste your time getting married to nobody if you can't coexist with them. If you can't live with somebody, if you can't solve problems with somebody, it's so much more than how cute they are. There's so much more to how sweet they talk. Anybody can say anything. Why do you think catfishing is such a big thing nowadays? Even makeup destroys who a person is. You put makeup on to look like anybody. There was this kid. This lady was an artist. And she made her son look like Drake. She painted his face with makeup, contours and stuff, and made his face look like Drake. You can be anybody, but what's in you will come out. So you need to know the inner person before you marry that person, because you can't even, these people can't even live together. They get home, what are you going to do on 2 or 3 week vacation? Survive that 2 or 3 week vacation, but you can't survive the rest of the year. Come on now. Y'all can do better than that. So, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and remind you, subscribe to this channel, hit the like button. Also, I keep forgetting to tell y'all, do not forget to hit the notification bell next to subscribe. Make sure that you click it and hit all. That way you can be the first to get the material when we drop it. We drop material weekly. We try to get it out Tuesdays and Fridays, and we try to hit, we're going to start trying to hit a live on these Saturday evenings. So we try to get this material out. Sometimes and that doesn't mean just 2 videos a week. Like I record videos all the time in my car. Sometimes I shoot them right here in my office. So look, you will be the first to know that this material is dropping as long as you hit that notification bell. If you like the video, make sure you hit the like and share this video with your family and friends. Divorce is a big concern. It is a big issue. Surprisingly, 39% is a big number. I cannot believe I read that 39% of marriages are ending in divorce. That is very sad in 2020. So, also, if you have anything to say, or if you have a title, not a title, but a topic that you want me to cover, please put it in the comments. I'd be happy to research it and look in and see if it's a topic that I can cover. And with that being said, I'm going to catch y'all on the flip side.